Tonight, we are in the virtual presence of an incredibly respected scholar and someone who I've looked up to personally for many years. Imam Zaid Shakir is a co-founder and senior faculty member of Zaytuna College, located in Berkeley, California. He is amongst the most respected and influential Islamic scholars in the West. As an American Muslim who came of age during the civil rights struggles, he has brought both sensitivity about race and poverty issues and scholarly discipline to his faith-based work. Imam Zaid is a signatory along with religious and spiritual leaders from around the world who presented the UN Secretary General with a declaration in support of the Paris Climate Agreement under the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. This was the largest number of nations ever signing an international agreement. Inspired to work with religious groups on sustainable living and climate change in 2017, Imam Zaid is a green faith partner in action for the earth. The mission is to inspire, educate, organize, and mobilize people of diverse religious and spiritual backgrounds globally for environmental action. For tonight, Imam Zaid Shakir will speak for about 20 minutes, and then there will be an opportunity for Q&A. On the bottom of your screen, there's a place to submit questions for the Q&A session. If you have any technical difficulties, please contact us out of the chat box, and we will do our best to assist you. Following the Q&A, myself and we will actually have two other speakers tonight as well speaking following Imam Zaid. So without further ado, I welcome Imam Zaid Shakir. Jazakallah for being with us tonight.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wa salam ala Sayyid al-Mursaleen Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam tasliman kathira. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, Ramadan Mubarak. It's a great opportunity, great honor, great pleasure to be with all of you tonight. A wonderful moderator. May Allah bless you, give you long life filled with barakah. Alhamdulillah, from fasting from wastefulness or something like that. Alhamdulillah, our fast has many, many benefits. And to me, the earth is fasting right now. Because the normal amount of poisons and pollutions that we dump into the waters and that we dump into the air, the toxins, the carcinogens, a lot of that, a large percentage has ceased. And the earth is repairing itself. The earth is recovering. They say now the canals in Venice are blue and the fish and dolphins have returned. The air over China and India, from India, they're now seeing the Himalayas from 200 kilometers away. People have never seen the Himalayas in their entire life. Others who for the last 30 years, they haven't seen the Himalayas. Now they can see the Himalayas. So the earth is repairing itself. Allah Ta'ala mentions in the Quran, ظَهَرَ الْفَسَادُ أَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ ظَهَرَ الْفَسَادُ فِي الْبَرِّ وَالْبَحْرِ بِمَا كَسَبَتْ أَيْدِي النَّاسِ لِيُذِيقَهُمْ بَعْدَ الَّذِي عَمِلُوا لَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْجِعُونَ. That corruption has appeared on the land and sea and in the sea, owing to what the hands of humans have wrought. Thus do we give them a taste of what they have done in order that they may return to the path of sanity, to the path of right guidance, to the path of prophetic guidance. So Allah is giving us a taste of what we've earned. The current crisis, well, we going on a tangent, let me get back to, but it's setting the stage for talking about wastefulness. Much of the toxins that we dump into the ocean, we spew into the environment, the plastics, they say by 2050, the oceans will contain more plastics than fish. The raw tonnage of plastics will be greater than the raw tonnage of fish in the ocean. And a lot of that is totally due to waste. It's totally due to waste. You know, I've been in some Muslim countries, and I'm sure many of you who have visited Muslim countries, they're insulted if you don't take a plastic bag to put your things in. Like, no, brother, take a bag. It's like, no, I don't want the bag. It's going to end up sullying the beautiful countrysides. You go to Morocco and plastic bags are all caught in the fence along the side of the road. We have to cultivate a higher consciousness. And the best way to do that is, as we're Muslims, is returning to the Book of Allah. Allah Ta'ala reminds us in the Quran, Ya bani Adam, a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Ya bani Adam, khudhu zinatakum 'inda kulli masjid, wa kulu washrabu wa la tusrifu, inna Allah la yuhibbul musrifin. So Allah tells us that we should adorn ourselves in every masjid. In other words, beautify ourselves. And this was a direct response to the practice of the idolaters who would circumambulate the Kaaba naked. The men in the daytime, the women at night. And this was their practice. And so Allah says, no, you adorn yourself with beautiful garments in every masjid. Ya bani Adam, khudhu zinatakum 'inda kulli masjid. And Allah is beautiful and loves beauty. And the hadith where that phrase is related was a man questioning whether his beautiful shoes, so it's a reference to clothing, were excessive. And the Prophet ﷺ, he said, no, arrogating yourself and being conceited and arrogating yourself before the people, that's what is excessive. But Allah is beautiful and loves beauty. And so Allah loves us to beautify and adorn ourselves. But in doing that, we shouldn't be excessive. We shouldn't be extravagant. We shouldn't have 300 pairs of shoes. So we're trying to rival Emelda Marcos. Some of you are old enough to relate to that reference. We shouldn't have a closet full of clothes that we don't wear. Because why? That's all taken from the earth. It's taken from the earth if it's polyester or rayon, from oil, basically, extracted from the earth and then refined. And in the refining process, toxins are left behind. And that's the waste that's condemnable. If it's cotton, cotton is one of the most demanding crops for soil. Cotton and tobacco. Cotton and tobacco will exhaust the soil. And so if we have just tons of clothing, the masjid is struggling for money right now because of the virus and the Jummah, and then the donations that come during the Jummah, the donations during the nighttime, the Taraweeh, they're not coming in. But if we had a clothing drive, the masjid would not be struggling for clothes. We'd have to stop after 2 or 3 days. Perhaps you've done it there. The parking lots filled with clothes, the musallas filled with clothing, the balconies filled with clothing. Well, that's why everyone's cleaning out their closets and cleaning out their garages and cleaning out their attics and their basements from all this excessive clothing that we've taken from the earth and then we dump into the earth when it's all used up. And that's the excess. And as Muslims, we have to avoid this. We have to be, yes, beautify ourselves and have beautiful clothing, but only a little bit, just a little bit, and not to these excesses. So we adorn ourselves and we adorn the earth. We're the Khalifa of Allah. We are responsible for beautifying the earth. It's our responsibility. We're responsible. We're the custodians of the trees and the flowers and the plants and the animals. And we should be providing the habitat or preserving. Allah Ta'ala has already provided it. We should be striving and working to the utmost of our ability to preserve the habitat that Allah has given us. And this is one of the hidden blessings in this Ramadan. One hidden blessing is so many of our young men have to step up and lead the Taraweeh for their families. Ordinarily, everyone's going to the masjid. A couple days ago, someone shared something very powerful, moving, and beautiful with me. The brother, a dear friend, he mentioned how his mother was so overwhelmed to be praying Taraweeh behind her grandson. Ordinarily, everyone would be in the masjid, but now they're home. and the grandson has memorized a good portion of the Quran, has a very beautiful voice, and now he's leading the family in Taraweeh, and the grandmother is just overwhelmed and so touched and moved by that. That's a hidden blessing. But a hidden blessing in the context of what I was talking about, in terms of our custodianship over the earth, is the tons of styrofoam and plastic waste from the plastic spoons and forks that end up in many instances, the forks choking the sea turtles and other aquatic life when it's dumped into the ocean. That's what recycling is by and large. It's dumping it in the ocean. And now countries, as many of you know, Malaysia, Singapore, China, they're not taking our plastic waste. Now it just goes straight into the ocean. But those tons from their what? 2,000 Islamic centers and masjids in North America. Many of you have seen the dumpsters filling up after every iftar with the plastic plates and the styrofoam plates and the styrofoam cups and the plastic spoon. That's not happening. And so we are giving the earth a break. Indeed, not under ideal circumstances, not under desirable circumstances, but it gives us pause to step back and consider what we've done, what we're doing, what we're contributing to. And we should go from this Ramadan, when we return to normal, if there is a such thing as normal, and if we return to it, if it does exist, we should make sure we have green masjids and a green Ramadan next year. And I've participated in Green Ramadan. We alhamdulillah, we contacted a local Muslim restaurant to wash our reusable plates and cups and utensils. And the food scraps were a little bag that we sent to local gardens to be composted. That's what our Ramadan should look like, brothers and sisters, when we return to the masjids. And we should take it upon ourselves to cultivate that consciousness. And that's how we go from wastefulness to a green Ramadan. What is the exact title of the program? I forget. I'll look it up on my phone. We'll have a race. Who can do it first? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. From fasting from wastefulness, faithfully going green. Exactly. And so this is how we faithfully go green. We green our masjids. We green our homes by not wasting. We have an iftar where there's no waste. The only thing that's left are some tiny food scraps that we might not have eaten, and then we compost those. And we go to the local restaurant and we use their dishwasher to wash all the dishes. Oh, we wanted to do a green Ramadan, but there's 300 people for every iftar and we could never wash the dishes. MashaAllah. Bring them to a local 2 or 3 Muslim local restaurants, which exist in every decent sized city in this country, and use their dishwashing machine. That's how we take care of the dishes. There's nothing to prevent us except the will and the desire. So we have to faithfully go green. So Allah tells us, and what does green represent? It represents beauty. It represents our Prophet. Our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was beautiful. It represents the earth. It represents the grass. It represents the trees. This is what it represents, life itself. And so we are people who strive to preserve life. This is one of our maqasid, hifdud-din wal-haya wal-aql wal-nasl wal-mal or wal-ird. So our religion, as scholars such as Imam al-Shatibi, Imam Ghazali, Imam his teacher is slipping my mind. And in any case, as they instructed us, the religion has Shaykh al-Haramain al-Juwayni. As they've instructed us, the religion has been implemented to preserve 5 or 6 things, to preserve religion itself, and that's at the top of the list. Some scholars recently have said life, the second one is first, but with no deen, life isn't worth living. Deen is first, and then life, and then intellect, and then family, and then private property or honor. And so the religion has been instituted to preserve life. And pollution destroys life. Destroying the habitat and disrupting the ecosystems destroys life. Allah Ta'ala says He's established a balance. وَالسَّمَاءَ رَفَعَهَا وَوَضَعَ الْمِيزَانَ أَلَّا تَطْغَوْا فِي الْمِيزَانِ. And He's raised aloft the heavens, and He's established the balance that you not disrupt the balance. And so when we destroy habitat, when we drive species into extinction, we disrupt the balance. And when the balance is disrupted, you have the kind of human-animal interactions that are a factor in the spread of these viruses that transmute from bats and other wildlife to human beings. This is a real threat. The current COVID-19, this virus, this coronavirus is one of 1,400 that are out there. And we don't know the destructiveness of some of them. So it behooves us to maintain that balance. That's how we go green faithfully. And so Allah says, Ya Bani Adam, and this isn't just the Muslims, this is all of humanity. We should be, as Muslims, part of a larger ecological project. And alhamdulillah, that's actually happening. And I can testify to that. يا بني آدم خذوا زينتكم عند كل مسجد وكلوا واشربوا ولا تسرفوا. Eat, drink, in other words, enjoy the bounties of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Cultivate the land. Keep the water clean so we can eat and drink ولا تسرفوا. But don't waste. One of the greatest forms of waste, I will put Muslims on the spot right now. Because if we don't have the ability to speak openly with each other, how are we going to move our community to a higher level? This country, we need 31 million face masks and gowns for adequate protective equipment for our healthcare workers on the front lines, not just this virus, generally. I have a friend who is an infectious disease doctor, so he's right there on the front line. Ordinarily, he says, whenever he goes into a room with a patient that has C. diff, and some of you know C. diff is too many antibiotics, wipe out your gut flora, and then C. diff, which isn't a bacteria, but it's a spore, proliferates, and it causes severe diarrhea that could kill a person if it's not arrested. And it's highly contagious. He said every single time they go from one room to another, they change their face mask and their gowns. They were battling this coronavirus outbreak with a single mask and gown for an entire shift. And why? They're not enough. Just like there aren't enough tests. Try to get tested for COVID-19 if you're not half dead. You get the runaround. In any case, we need 31 million for all the doctors, all the nurses, all the cleaning staff, the janitorial staff, for all of the shifts and all of the hospitals going into each of the rooms. But we can't do it because it's not profitable to stockpile that much equipment and not sell it immediately with on-demand requisitioning. But every day we produce 31 million cans of soda, which is what? Which is a waste of water. Kulu washrabu, drink, wala tusrifu. Is sugar, is decaying our teeth, it's weakening our bones. Muslims, no one should be drinking soda. I don't drink soda. No one should drink it. We should drink water. We should drink juice. We should drink milk. We shouldn't drink carbonated sugar water with some flavor added to it. But we can find the wherewithal for 31 million cans of soda but we can't find the wherewithal for 31 million pieces of protective gear for people who are putting their lives on the line, because the 31 million cans of soda are profitable. And to stockpile that much personal protective equipment is not profitable. This is waste. It's wasting water. We shouldn't be buying water unless we're in an area where the water is toxic. We're overseas in Cairo or somewhere. Why are we buying water in America? I'll give you an example of the waste. Flint, they're drinking poisonous water. Less than 30 miles away, Nestle is sucking the groundwater out for practically free and then selling it to people. We should revive the boycott of Nestle's that was going on in the 70s. Some of you are old enough to remember. Why was it going on? Because they were giving free baby formula to mothers of newborns in Africa and some parts of Asia, primarily Africa. And once they left the hospital and their milk was dried up or shortly after, then they would sell it to them, and then they're mixing it with the dirty water from the local water sources. And then the mothers and babies are coming down with all kinds of disease. And so there was an international boycott of Nestle's to stop that practice. We should be boycotting them for taking water almost free from the 30 miles from Flint, Michigan. And people in Flint are drinking poisonous water. These are the kind of imbalances. This is the kind of wastefulness we should address. Why? We're wasting our money. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in another verse, when he said, إِنَّ الْمُبَذِّرِينَ كَانُوا الشَّيَاطِينَ كَانُوا إِخْوَانَ الشَّيَاطِينَ وَكَانَ الشَّيْطَانُ لِرَبِّهِ كَفُورًا. That those who squander their money are the brothers of Satan. And in this day of equality, the brothers and sisters of Satan. The brothers and sisters of Satan. And Satan rejected the blessings of his Lord. And the commentators say they spend their money on either sinful or worthless things. It's a waste of money to buy water when we have clean water in the tap. And what's the difference? Oh, the tap water is bad. How do we know that the bottled water we're buying isn't worse when it's an unregulated industry? We don't know the arsenic levels. We don't know what carcinogens might be in that water because it's a totally unregulated industry. At least the tap water is regulated and the municipalities that have to test it. But we're spending our money to buy water. And then as a consequence, we're putting millions of tons of plastic bottles into the earth. How do we go green faithfully? When we go back to the masjid, bring a reusable water bottle, a reusable water can. Refuse to take the water they give you in the plastic bottles that we then throw out and fill up the dumpster with.
Imam Zaid, I just want to be mindful of the time. I'm leaving up.
If the time is up, then let me wrap up. No. You should just, alhamdulillah, barakallahu feekum. You know, I'm going to just go on, and I'm glad you had the good insight to stop me. But let me just summarize the two verses. The first, Ya bani Adam, Ya bani Adam, khudhu zinatakum 'inda kulli masjid. وَكُلُوا وَاشْرَبُوا وَلَا تُسْرِفُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُحِبُّ الْمُسْرِفِينَ. O the children of Adam, adorn yourself at every masjid. Eat and drink and don't waste. Verily Allah does not love those who are wasteful. And the second, إِنَّ الْمُبَذِّرِينَ كَانُوا إِخْوَانَ الشَّيَاطِينَ وَكَانَ الشَّيْطَانُ لِرَبِّهِ كَفُورًا. That verily those who squander their wealth are the brothers and sisters of Satan, and Satan is a total ingrate to his Lord. Jazakumullah khairan. Sorry for going over the time. Please excuse me. I know we're up against iftar. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jazakallah, Imam Zaid. And I really love how you started off talking about how the earth is also fasting.
Yes.
It's a really interesting way of illustrating this time that we're in. So we have time for a couple questions, inshallah. And I'll start off with a question from my sister that says, where is the first place you would point believers who do not practice conservation efforts, like environmental and consumerism? And what would you suggest is a good starting point in our masjids that all people can commit to?
Ban the distribution of bottled water. Plastic bottles from bottled water is one of the greatest sources of ecological harm in our day and age. As we said, most of it ends up in the sea. The turtles think they're jellyfish. They eat them. They choke. They die. Other marine life, the whales, are taking this in. Ban it. It's a totally wasteful practice, and everyone commit yourself to bring a reusable water bottle to the masjid, fill it up at home, and if you need to tap up right there in the masjid from the water fountain or the other water source. That would be my first bit of advice to anyone. Anyone can do that. It doesn't take a total, you don't have to be a greenie. You just have to be a Muslim with some sensitivity towards our responsibility towards the fellow creatures we share this earth with.
Absolutely. I mean, if you think about how many, when you go to Taraweeh during Ramadan at the masjid, typically there's just water bottles all over the place, you know.
They're hauled in by the pallet.
Mm-hmm.
May Allah forgive us and bless us to be advocates for the earth and refuse to use them and encourage the administration. Don't waste your money. Don't waste the believers' money. People aren't coming out of their pocket. They're coming from the masjid account, from the treasury, which is the believers' money. Don't waste the believers' money on this disposable junk.
Absolutely. And this kind of leads into another question where someone asks, how do we help inspire our communities to really care enough to change? It's so easy just to ignore these issues and problems around us, and just because it's easy to pick up a plastic water bottle and drink out of it. There's so many things that are so easy for us, but we're not grasping the real issues at hand. So how do we really get the people in our communities and our masajid to really care enough to change?
Two things. Number one, we have to work on cultivating a healthier consciousness, ecological consciousness. And that's a process of education. This country, some of your parents are probably old enough to remember the anti-litter campaign. This whole disposable society, this is a post-World War II phenomenon. When the war industry, that productive capacity was translated into consumer goods. So you have all this industrial capacity and people only need so much. And if you look at Vance Packard, some of his writings about planned obsolescence, we were consciously acculturated into disposability. And so people would just throw things on the side of the road. And so you had a massive campaign of education. And please, please don't be a litter bug, because every litter bit hurts. The Indian in the canoe, some of you can Google it, with the tear rolling down his eyes as he canoes through a polluted rivulet with this oil and tin cans and trash. And he's going through all this filth in his canoe and the tears running down his face. Rachel Carson's Silent Spring, 1961, the book that really ignited the environmental movement. Then we had Earth Day. We recently had Earth Day. Earth Day, when I was in elementary school, when Earth Day started, we observed it in elementary school. It was the most widely observed day of action in the history of this country. But the powers that be systematically eroded and undermined the consciousness that was developing. Why? Because it was threatening our consumer society. And so we have to educate ourselves, number one. And then number two, we have to be committed to changing ourselves. And don't worry about anyone else. If you know it's wrong, it doesn't matter if everyone in the masjid is following you. Someone will be inspired by your example. So make sure we don't do nothing because, oh, I'm just one person. What difference will it make? Every river, no matter how great the current, and now it's springtime, and so it's rainy season. In many parts of the country, the snow melts, what little snow actually fell this year. And so you get the rivers are filled. Every river started with somewhere high up in the mountains, somewhere way upstream with a single drop of water. And that drop joined other drops, and they joined others, and they joined others until they formed this great, powerful current. And so you just make sure you're that one drop, and you're there to join others when they come along. And sooner or later, we'll have that great river, inshallah. And our powerful current will sweep away the polluters, inshallah.
I mean, that's one of the things that everyone thinks about. One of the questions that was actually asked was how am I supposed to do something as an individual when the large majority of people are not also contributing to, using reusable water bottles and not purchasing soda cans and remembering to recycle. So you kind of feel like you're against the world in a way when you're trying to, be an individual in this fight.
I say to that, just think of one thing. If you're doing something alone in this world, then it's good practice for Yawm al-Qiyamah, because each and every one of us will stand alone before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for judgment. And accountability, then when you meet Allah, you'll be in good shape, inshallah.
Inshallah, I mean, so Imam Zaid, what is one way and one goal of yours for personally, and something that maybe you can, influence us and encourage us to do, that you're doing this Ramadan when we're not in our masajid, but what is something that you're doing personally to help yourself become more environmentally conscious?
Alhamdulillah. Most days driving a lot less. I would say that's the one. Riding my bike a lot more, because that's the ultimate social distancing exercise. If you're walking, you might be near, but if you're on your bike, you're on the side of the road, you can get into the middle of the road. If some people are coming, you don't need a mask. So I've been riding my bike a whole lot more. And I think we need to do more biking. Planning to try to be in communities that require a lot less driving in and of themselves. So I'm trying to move actually to a community that's closer to shopping, closer to things. So alhamdulillah.
And that's a great example where the world stops and we have an opportunity to improve ourselves while we also help the world heal as well. I want to be mindful of your time. You only have a few minutes left because I know that you're on the East Coast and Iftar is coming up soon. But we have time for one more question. So I want to revisit when you talked about this kind of green Ramadan that you have kind of implemented in the masajid. What's one way, so 1 year from now, inshallah, when, if the world is back to this normal that we hope it can be, inshallah, what is something that each masajid can really hone in on? I know you mentioned water bottles, but what is something that collectively that masajid can change in part of Green Ramadan?
I think everything we mentioned. No styrofoam. Absolutely. Something that doesn't degenerate or decompose rather. No styrofoam. No plastic water bottles. Reusable utensils. Not even paper plates. Recycling uses a lot of water to recycle paper. Reusable dishes, and being very firm in that. Being very firm. And like if you don't, we're not going to have water in bottles. So if you don't bring a reusable one, you're just not going to drink. because with the COVID still out there, no one's going to share one with you. And if you don't bring your own reusable bottle, you're not going to drink. If the masjid refuses to use reusable utensils, we'll pray somewhere else. We have to begin to hold each other accountable. You have to hold me accountable. We have to accept that. We shouldn't be offended if someone's pushing us to do better. We shouldn't be offended at all. Like, listen, since you guys don't have it together, the masjid 10 miles up the road is further, but we're going to pray over there because they're implementing some of these things that we, the youth, have demanded of them. And so if you're going to ignore us, then we'll go somewhere else. We're going to vote with our feet.
I was thinking about how much, and when we're making wudu, how much unnecessary water we use.
Turn it off between washing the various parts. Mm-hmm. Just turn the water off. And then we're encouraged anyway. It's from the sunnah to use a small amount of water. Not a minuscule amount, but a small amount of water for our purification. That's from the sunnah. So don't turn the spigot up full blast. Just turn it up enough to reasonably have the water run over the places that we're washing during our ablutions.
Well, Imam Zaid, Jazakallah khair for your incredible, immense amount of knowledge and sharing this time with us. And we are very grateful to have you in our presence virtually. And please keep us in your du'as, the MCC community, and we'll keep you and your family in our du'as.
Barakallahu feekum. Jazakallah khair for the opportunity. It's a great honor and pleasure to address you. May MCC continue to be strong and prosperous. I know you had earlier this year your something anniversary. May you have many more.
Inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Our next speakers are Emelda Lawson-Bakal and Asif Sheikh. Emelda Lawson-Bakal is the co-founder of Chicago Muslims Green Team, CMGT. Before working on CMGT, Emelda was a program manager at Northeastern Illinois University. She has 20 years of experience managing educational programs and provided innovative educational program to hundreds of teachers, parents, and students in the Chicago public schools. Emelda loves nature and has a passion for sustainable community engagement that promotes human development and environmental justice. Emelda is concerned about climate crisis and through CMGT programs is raising awareness of an eco, lifestyle, and environmental justice in her faith community. Asif Sheikh works as a data analyst at the University of Chicago Booth College of Business. And he is one of the leads for the Downtown Islamic Center, DIC, Ramadan community, and voluntarily runs DIC's Feed the Hungry program every Sunday with the help of a team of 6 other volunteers, mashallah. This year, he is leading the Green Ramadan project for Chicago Muslim Green Team. He believes in small actions to make bigger changes in the world. He and his wife always try to lead by example for others to follow a green lifestyle. I am joined now by Asif and Emelda. Assalamu alaikum. You guys just want to make sure you guys are unmuted.
Wa alaikum salam, Brother Mohsin.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Brother Mohsin. Thank you for inviting us.
No, thank you. I know you guys were on short notice, so we appreciate you guys, your flexibility and your energy for this topic. So I'll let you guys take it away, and please go ahead.
Okay, it is really an honor to follow Sheikh Imam Zaid Shakir. It's a great honor to follow him because I've been following him and Sheikh Hamza Yusuf for many, many years at Zaytuna. And he said so many things that really resonate with our group, the Chicago Muslims Green Team. We are a group of Muslims who have come together to raise awareness and about environmental justice through our programming in the Chicago area. We've started, actually, I love his analogy of the drop in the river because Carolyn Williams Kallenpauw, she actually it was her idea to start this group, and she started actually with doing a demonstration of how to make your own cleaning supplies with vinegar and essential oils at a sisters group. And from that, I joined her, and Kaula Hamad joined, and we started working with others in the community to really raise awareness about how our faith informs our environmental work. In 2019, it was great. Imam Zaid was talking about the iftars at the mosque, because we had an eco-friendly iftar last year at the Downtown Islamic Center, and it was really wonderful to have DIC support this effort. We took over 2 nights, and over about 300 people participated, and we had composting, and we had biodegradable, compostable utensils and plates. And then at our interfaith iftar, or at the DIC's interfaith iftar, we use plates. So it's really important, as the Sheikh Imam Zaid was saying, that everyone contributes to this effort and everyone gets on board, inshallah, God willing. I guess I also wanted to talk about what this, he mentioned, Sheikh Imam Zaid mentioned being a khalifa, and what that means is being a steward of the earth, and that is part of, as far as I can see, all faith traditions. We have that responsibility to take care of the earth and the creatures in our earth. I wanted to share with you from our faith tradition. We have there's something in the Quran. There's a surah in the Quran that talks about, and I just want to quote it so I don't get it wrong, but it's very beautiful because it really emphasizes community. It starts off by saying, "And there is no creature on or within the earth, or bird that flies with its wings, except that they are communities like you. And we have not neglected in the register a thing, then unto their Lord they will be gathered." And what that's saying is that, like Imam Zaid Shakir said, we are accountable for what we do on the earth. We are accountable for how we treat the earth, how we treat the creatures on the earth, how we treat each other. I think he really brought up an important point, that this environmental justice is also social justice. It's a social justice issue, as he mentioned, Flint, the lead in the water. We also did a water testing initiative out with Imam on the south side. So this is a very important issue for all of our faith communities to participate in. I think my 5 minutes is up, so I do want to let Brother Asif talk about, we weren't able to do, obviously, a iftar, breaking of the fast this year at the mosque, because all of the mosques are closed, but alhamdulillah, thank God that we are able to do it virtually through a Zoom. So I want to let Brother Asif talk about our online iftar, zero waste iftar, that we would like to do this year. So thank you for having us on, and I'll be waiting to answer any questions later, inshallah.
Jazakallah. Thank you for being mindful of the time as well. Brother Asif, please.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you for having us today. And alhamdulillah, I see a lot of people joining today, almost 70 plus people. And before I start, I would like to make a dua. Rabbi shari sadri wassirli amri wa wal uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yes, we all talked about different small actions, right? Which we can contribute to initiate the green lifestyle. But we, as a Chicago Muslim Green Team today, I'm so happy and glad to share you that we are going with an event called Zero Waste Iftar event on May 17th. And alhamdulillah, we would we would like everyone to participate in this, because it's not just a Zoom event where you would be watching us eat, but it's also something engaging. So I would love that if everyone can join us in this event. So basically, it's on May 17th, 7 to 8 p.m. And the agenda, we have kept it very simple. Alhamdulillah, we have a speaker who will be talking about green initiative lifestyle. And after that, we would have a Zero Waste Iftar Challenge submission showcase. I would talk more about that in the next slide. And after that, we would be opening up the cameras for all the people who would be joining and signing up to share their zero waste recipe which they cooked on the day of the event, and share their dastarkhan with all of us, and what they cooked, and give a little bit information on that. And after that, we will have a good, beautiful dua to sign off. So it's a very interesting event coming up on May 17th, and I would love if all of you can participate and also join us on our Facebook Live or Zoom. Talking about the challenge, alhamdulillah, we have kept it very simple for all of us. And as I said, when I'm advocating about a challenge, I believe in leading that lifestyle. Because me and my wife Karima, we recently got married, and I would like to tell you that we got married live. So we saved a lot on food. We saved a lot of waste which happens during marriage. So that's what we believe in. We want to share our eco lifestyle with people, but at the same time we have to lead that so that people follow that, right? So that's how I'm coming back to what's the challenge. So you have to just do simple steps. You have to choose what challenge you want to. You can choose one or more challenge you want to. And it's a very interesting challenges, like how to reuse your plastic items throughout this month and after this Ramadan also, but find out different creative ways and take a photo. Also, like what meal you're cooking on that day or throughout this next 2 weeks, using no meat, because as you know, all meat consumption is also affecting the greenhouse gases. So that is something which we promote. And also doing decoration in your house using recycled materials. If you're already done that, just take a photo, post it on your social media and tag us, or you can send it an email to zerowasteftar@gmail.com. Also, they're like if you're using paper bags or something to buy grocery, take a photo, share it, and you can share using hashtag called Ramadan Rethink. This month, we are promoting the project of Green Ramadan by not just repairing or rethinking or reconnecting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but at the same time, we are also promoting recycling, reusing, and rethinking about what our actions are. So yeah, alhamdulillah, so far we have so many people who are supporting us for this particular event. But we will also love that if you all can join us and promote this, because as Sheikh Imam Zaid especially mentioned, that small actions, your personal actions are very important, because at the end of the day, on the day of the judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to ask you what you did. He won't ask you what your community did. He won't ask you what your father did, your parents did, or your son did, but what you did. So I'm really fascinated with the point, and it's really struck my, and it really connects with each one of us with this challenge. You can keep yourself accountable and like go ahead and do something and share it. Who doesn't want to be famous, right? We would be sharing all these posts on the day of the event, and share the unique creative post which will be submitted. So yes, alhamdulillah, thank you for giving us the platform and sharing this. And we also thank our partners who are helping us with this project, especially Illinois Muslim Civic Coalition organization and Project Taqwa and American Muslim Health Professionals, Mecca Center and ICN, all these partners, and especially DIC has always been our the most important part of our organization, always to support us and help us. And this time they are sponsoring us. So yeah, all the information, we have it on our website, and also we would be sharing on our different social media platforms throughout Instagram and Facebook. So please do share. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I love how you highlighted the simple kind of these challenges, the ways that we can all, have this zero waste iftar, this, and especially during this time of Ramadan when we're at home, ways that we can all be more environmentally conscious. We only have a couple minutes, but we have one question that was asked, if there's a specific company or a specific link that you guys might recommend that sells reusable plates and silverware.
Oh boy. I think we have to go back to our team for that. I don't have something readily available. I think we just sort of look on Amazon, but I would suggest if there's a local company that we should support them, as much as possible. Also because obviously there's the carbon footprint of Amazon delivering from far away. That would be my recommendation. Just look for someone local if possible. I think Dixie is actually local. But it's even a smaller or big company, either. You can, someone was posting from my team. You can go to our website. We're going to post, we'll post on our website, inshallah, God willing.
And we'll be sure to share all of these, the events that you share with us and these challenges. And inshallah, we can have this Muslim community in Chicago really be a bigger team effort. And I want to go back to, what Imam Zaid said, and that you also reiterated, was that idea of, a drop of water. It feels like when we're doing something alone, you don't see what other people are doing. But in reality, all those little things are slowly adding up. So to close, I want to ask you one more question to both of you. What's the one thing that you can recommend that we can all do right now? I know you talked about it, Brother Asif, with the challenges, but what's the easiest thing that we can all do during Ramadan to help us be more environmentally conscious?
I would tell you, my wife and I, we both are doing this as a project for both of us. This Ramadan is we are doing eco wudu. So this is something which we are trying to see how much water we can save every time when we do wudu. So it's a very good practice. All you need is a small bowl which you can keep below your sink or below your tap in the sink. And when you're doing that wudu, you will once you're done, the water which is collected, you can use it to put it to your plants, or use it for just for washing the dishes or something like that. In this way, or just put it in your bathroom where in the commode or something like that. In a way, like you at the end you're recycling that water. It's not just going drained out from your sink. So that is something. And also we also kept a track of it, like how much water we are saving. So by end of this month we'll have clear numbers on that. So alhamdulillah, that is something which I would ask.
Jazakallah, thank you for sharing.
I would say what I would say is we're already on social media a lot. So I would say reach out, build community. This is a amazing time to do that. And it's not just limited to here in Chicago. We have an ambassador, Habiba, she's in France now. She was here, she's in France. She's right. Doing work there. So just reach out, build community, and you can take, once this is over, inshallah, you can take that into the world again as we move. So
inshallah. Well, thank you so much once again for coming on such short notice and providing us with such amazing opportunities and ways that we will be more green and environmentally conscious as Muslims, inshallah. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you guys for the work that you do, and may you have a blessed Ramadan, inshallah.
You too, brother.
Jazakallah khairan, brother.
Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah khairan.
Assalamu alaikum. Civic engagement is a very important part of our community at MCC, and we as an organization actively work to have our voices heard in places that help all of humanity, and making sure that we vote and fill out our census is very important. My family's already filled out our census. It only takes a few minutes. So I'd like to invite Fatima Siddiqa, a fellow from the Illinois Muslim Civic Coalition and an MCC Academy graduate and an actively engaged member of the MCC community, to speak a little bit on census education.
Sure, thank you, Mahsen. So if you haven't already heard, the census is underway, and it happens every 10 years. It asks very simple questions. It's just meant to count every single person in the population. And the two greatest things we get out of it is federal funding for all of our programs and congressional representation. So if you haven't already filled it out, we have a great demo that somebody on our team did for us when they completed their census.
The census is officially here, and we're going to teach you how to fill it out in less than 2 minutes. Here we go. The census helps bring needed resources to our community, especially in emergency and critical times like these. Every person in the U.S. is counted. Yes, man, women, child, citizen, undocumented, students, everyone. So with that being said, let's show you how it's done. On a mobile device or desktop, go on 2020census.gov and click respond. Here you're going to see a button that says start questionnaire. Very simple. You click that button. Now here we have two options. A, you can use your 12-digit census ID that was mailed to you, or you can just click I don't have my ID, I'm going to use my address instead. So we're going to go ahead and use the option where we can simply use our home address. So over here, you put in your address, you click next, you put in your full name, your phone number, and now you answer some household questions. So you start off by answering how many people are inside of your household who live with you. Once you click next, you actually write down their names. So I'm putting down my wife's name because it's just my wife and I in our house. Once you fill out the names of the people who live in your house, you're just answering very simple basic questions that portrays to you in your living situation. You select the names, you click next, and now you simply answer personal questions about you, your gender, your date of birth, and finally your race. So you go ahead and you fill out your race. I'm Pakistani, so I'm going to go to other Asian and choose Pakistani. If you don't see your race here, all the way in the bottom you'll see some other race. We're commonly asked what if you're Arab or Middle Eastern. Here is where you can scroll down and put in your ethnicity, whether you're Palestinian, Egyptian, Moroccan, or Syrian. Once you finish that step, the census will ask you to do the same for gender, race, and date of birth with everyone else in your family. You answer one or two more simple questions and you click submit questionnaire, and congratulations, you have officially completed your 2020 census.
Thank you, Fatima, for providing us with some information on the census. Just want to say thank you for everyone for joining tonight and joining us with Imam Zaid and the other two wonderful panelists that we had tonight. And I just want to say that all these webinars that we've been producing during Ramadan are uploaded to the MCC Interfaith and Outreach Facebook page and the MEC YouTube channel. So this information will be posted on the MCC website as well, and a lot of the platforms that I mentioned for you to review at your own leisure. After every webinar, we usually have a poll. It should just pop up on your screen right now, actually. So if you don't mind, please fill out the poll. It just only take a second, and it helps us get some feedback so we can make these better for all of us. Also, please remember to donate using the link that we had to MCC. We appreciate your generous donations. And don't forget to jump back on Zoom next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time for our next topic, Anti-Blackness in the Muslim Community, with Dr. Rami Nashashibi and Marguerite Hill. Thank you again for joining us, and stay healthy, stay safe, and Assalamu alaikum and Ramadan Mubarak.